Hey guys, how you doing? Major here, and today we're going to be taking a look at what I think is the best loadout for the new Legacy Operations map that has just dropped for Battlefield 4, otherwise known as Noshahr 2.0. Now, picking a loadout for this map is kind of difficult because you've got so many different areas that have so many different characteristics. On the far left of the map, you've got a massive long lane with really long lines of sight. In the centre, you've got the really tight corridors where it's really close quarters and where a fast firing weapon is going to be a lot more useful. And then you've got across the map where you've got the trucks which can see across the entirety of the map. And then again on the right hand side, you've got some longer lines of sight where longer range weapons are going to be more useful to you. So quite a few different weapons are going to be suited to different parts of the map. But for the best overall performance in all areas, I decided to go for the ACWR. You can find the ACWR in the Carbine class of weapons, meaning that it can be equipped with either the Assault, Engineer, Support or Recon class. However, I decided to go for the Assault class just because that's my preferred class. I like to be able to heal myself up when I'm damaged. However, the ACWR does have a fairly high rate of fire, and it does burn through ammo pretty quickly, so if you want to make sure that you always have enough ammo, going with the support class might also be a decent idea. So for attachments, I decided to go with the Coyote dot sight, just because that's my preferred dot sight. That's up to you, you can use whatever you want, but I recommend going with an RDS. Now for the attachment, I didn't put anything on here just because I like the attachment to be naked. I don't like any laser sights or anything like that. However, looking back on it, I think a magnifier might be something that you want to consider, just so it gives you a little bit more of an advantage when it comes to the longer lines of sight. And then on the barrel, I decided to put a suppressor on there just so it keeps me nice and silent and ninja-y when I'm sneaking around the middle and people don't know where I am. It can also help sometimes when the spawns flip and you end up getting some really good backdoor Dumbledore kills. So for the sidearm, I decided to go for the 93R. Again, this is sort of personal preference, but I like the 93R because it then means that even if my ammo runs dry in my primary weapon, I've still got a semi-automatic secondary weapon that can still do a fair amount of damage at close to medium range. The G18 might be a decent alternative option if the 93R is not your thing. So for the gadgets, I decided to go with the standard medic bag and defibrillator, just because then this means that we're going to be able to maximise our points, healing people and reviving people, because as you may remember from Noshahr from Battlefield 3, it can be kind of messy, I think is the best word to describe it. People dying left, right and centre, gunfire going off everywhere, so ensuring that you can heal yourself and your teammates and revive them is not only going to help reduce the enemy's ticket count, but is also going to provide you with some decent points. For the grenade, I just went for the M67 frag because that's just how I like to roll. The RGO impact and the V40 minis aren't that effective compared to the M67 frag. That's again just personal preference, you can use whatever you want to. You might actually want to use the RGO impact because then you can finish off an enemy by throwing a grenade into a tight spot when you've just done a little bit of damage to them and soften them up a bit as you duck back into cover. That might be a decent option. So now we've talked about the loadout, let's have a little bit of a chat about this new map. Legacy Operations. This is the remake of the Dragon Valley map from Battlefield 2, a map that I didn't really get a chance to play on Battlefield 2. I wasn't really playing Battlefield when that was around, but I think I'm not the only one who's going to say that they were incredibly happy to see that Noshahr was also going to be remade in with this map. I think it's fair to say that if you look back at Battlefield 3, the player favourite, or at least the most played map from Battlefield 3, is definitely Noshahr Canals. And I just can't quite put my finger on it. Maybe it's the fast-pacedness of the entire map, maybe it's the diversity of the lines of sight, but this map just gets me where it kicks me in the Battlefield feels, you know? So first impressions from when jumping on this map were, it seems kind of big, and I remember this being a topic that came up whilst it was in development on the CTE, that the new version in Battlefield 4 seemed to be on a bigger scale, which seemed weird because Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 have the same running speed and animations now, so it was kind of weird. We weren't quite sure what was wrong with it. It turned out it was actually the scale, but having played it, I actually kind of like. I think it just takes a little bit of getting used to this new scale, because after playing for a while, I really didn't find it to be much of an issue. I feel like Noshahr Canals is one of those maps that no matter how much time passes, and no matter how rose-tinted those glasses become, you can still go back and play it, and play the map just as you remembered. At first I thought I wasn't going to get that much nostalgia from playing the game, but after bashing it for a good 2 or 3 hours, I started to catch myself doing the same things I used to do when I used to play this map back in Battlefield 3 on the Xbox 360 2 years ago. I remember very fondly playing this map hour after hour after hour, and then constantly checking the leaderboard and chasing people up the leaderboard. I don't know if anybody else does this, but getting high up the leaderboard and then somebody overtaking you and you setting your sight on beating that one person and constantly striving to push yourself further and further and further and playing better and better and better to try and overtake them on the leaderboard. And doing that, I managed to catch myself doing this whilst I was playing on this map, just constantly checking the leaderboard and trying to overtake people. That's not something that I've caught myself doing in Battlefield 4 for a long time, and I'm quite happy to say that I'm pretty sure that this map has rekindled my love for Battlefield. And that's quite a bold statement considering that I haven't played Battlefield 4 properly in a good 9 months. So what are your thoughts on this loadout and the new map? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm very interested to read some of them. If you enjoyed, don't forget to absolutely smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.